I'm Alex Robbins. I'm from Northfield, Minnesota, and I am a graduating philosophy and art major. I've always been one of those kids who could draw, and I think a lot of people end up in art because when you're doodling in class and the kid leans over to you and says, "Hey man, you could draw." And so I had that experience growing up. So I was in the back of my mind, I could do art. So when I came to Northwestern, I certainly never thought I was going to do it, but I said, yeah, a liberal arts education, maybe I'll take a class. And then I took a class, and it was really great. And I ended up doing as much as I could. There was even some terms here where I only took art classes. And I think a lot of it has to do with the faculty here. That everything just sort of clicked, and I really enjoyed the faculty and the classes. And now I am a full-fledged art devotee. I'm not even sure how it happened. And I think that is also something that the faculty here is very supportive of. Most recently, I tried to memorize Fahrenheit 451 and recite it in one go. And it was a success in certain senses and an utter failure in other senses. I wrote a bunch of plays, got people together and got them put on for the Northwestern campus. I acted in one play my freshman year, and I had one line. And I did some film acting. There was the availability of a grant to fund a multi-nation trip that required you to go around the world. So I knew that this was available, and I knew I wanted to design a research project that would necessitate circumnavigating around the globe. And there was a few other stipulations, which are kind of awesome stipulations. You had to go to at least 3 continents, and you had to go to at least two countries on each continent. So the bare minimum was create a fabulous trip of 6 countries. And in the end, I ended up designing a fabulous trip of 14 countries, if you count Canada, but I count Canada. And my first international stop was England, and I made it from England over to old Soviet bloc countries, and I went from Poland down south until I reached Bulgaria, and then I was in Turkey for a while, and then went to East Africa, and then flew to India and did some East Asian countries. I did Thailand and Korea, and then had a 4-hour stopover in Japan. So I had been doing political cartoons for the Daily for a while, and been just fascinated with cartoons, plus add in all the work I had been doing in my art classes, and a more focused interest in the theory of art, and all the pieces sort of came together that we have this body of work, which is cartoons, body of art, that sort of goes below the radar, certainly of the art historical academic institution, and even us in our day-to-day life. We sort of regard them, but then we throw away that paper after we've looked at the cartoon. The truth of the matter is a lot of cartoonists are very educated people in their own right, so by and large, I was only meeting cartoonists who spoke English. That I met a couple cartoonists. I met one cartoonist in Tanzania who spoke only Swahili, but trying to rattle off the top of my head, I think pretty much everyone I knew was well educated. And cartoonists are great people to meet. I mean, they're funny, they're pithy, and they're kind of rebels at heart. So they're great to have a conversation with or a meal with. And that was my trip, going to exotic places and meeting incredibly interesting people who do this bizarre part of our culture. So that is the classic uncle at Thanksgiving question. The plan is work towards graduate school. I'm going to take some time off, and then the big question is I still want to do art, so I think I'm going to plan to do an MFA in art, but I'm still really interested in philosophy. So somewhere down the line, I'd still like to do that PhD in philosophy. So probably by the time I'm joining the AARP, I'll be done with graduate school. So I'm not exactly sure how all of those bits will be arranged, but that would be the goal. In other words, for the wise, uncles, stop asking these questions at Thanksgiving.